Hello and welcome back to another episode of the Weekly Waypoint. Today we are playing EverQuest Legends, and I have no idea what I'm doing because I have never really played EverQuest before. So I'm going to be giving you my first impressions on it from the perspective of that, of someone who's never played EverQuest before. I guess if you want my CV real quick, my earliest MMO was RuneScape, and then it was World of Warcraft, and I've played a ton of them since, but EverQuest is certainly the oldest that I have played, even though it's technically a new release, because what is EverQuest Legends? EverQuest Legends is a very interesting little kind of spin-off version of EverQuest, where you can triple class. Currently I'm only double classed. You might see in the bottom right there I'm a paladin druid. Have no idea if that's a good combination, but it seemed pretty good at the time. And you could do some crazy things. You can solo all content. You can merge copies of weapons together to upgrade them. You can sell loot on the fly like I'm doing here, and it just generally seems like a pretty interesting approach to a new way to play an old MMO. But it remains an old MMO with its own kind of quirks and archaisms, I guess, and boy, I have not felt this lost starting an MMO in years, and I've started lots of MMOs over the years, but I spent some time running around a town, fell in a moat, couldn't get out of a moat, had to drown myself to respawn so I could escape the moat. It felt so 1999, I guess. And so while there are plenty of YouTubers who could tell you, oh, EverQuest Legends is out, it's so great because you can do this and you can do that, and here's the other thing, here are the changes. For me, I'm playing EverQuest Legends, and what the heck is EverQuest? For me, from the new player perspective, this is still a game from 1999, and potentially controversially, I'm slightly regretting my purchase. I don't think I'm going to subscribe for another month, unless something changes. I'm going to continue giving this game a chance while I have it, but if something doesn't change over the next few weeks, I can't see myself giving it another month. And it's not because it's a bad game or anything, and it's not because it doesn't have charm. It definitely has charm. I'm talking to the NPCs, and I'm exploring the world, and I'm genuinely having a good time doing that. It's quite nostalgic, and it's, like I said, I'm enjoying the experience of being a fish out of water and having no idea what I'm doing and all that good stuff. But the more I look around, the more it seems like the gameplay loop is just what you're seeing right now, which is run around a mostly empty field, killing enemies for raw XP, do that over and over and over and over again. Which, I'm not going to fault the game for, because it was 1999, right? I'm sure a lot of the reason EverQuest is as popular as it is, or as popular as it was, is because back when this came out, it was the first one to do this. It was a novelty to have a character in a virtual fantasy world where you could run around and talk to other people and group up with other players, and you'd log out and then you'd log back in, and it would be like your second life and stuff, right? But when you play it in 2026 for the first time and you're kind of removed from all that, although you don't have to be, you can see in the bottom left there is a bustling community, but in the modern day, as a newcomer, without the novelty to sell it there, it does feel a little bare bones, if I'm being honest. I keep expecting there to be some kind of story. There is a questing system, but it's apparently for later expansions. It does the WoW Classic thing where it's technically running on a much newer version of the game than what it's actually delivering you. So yeah, I guess my question to EverQuest players is, am I doing this right? Apart from the 50 tiny things that I'm probably doing wrong, I don't know, maybe I'm doing a bad class combination, or using the wrong kind of weapon, or I'm in the wrong zone, it's not super efficient. Okay, never mind all that for a second. Is this it? Is this what I'm supposed to be doing? Running around, finding enemies that are my level or a little bit higher, and killing them for XP and loot? Because I can see the appeal, don't get me wrong, like I just said, my first MMO was RuneScape. And so I get it. Maybe this is just a game that I play while I listen to a podcast or an audiobook, and I just kind of grind. And I understand the macro progression appeal of yeah, sure, I'm not getting a whole lot done on a minute-to-minute basis, but over time I am building up my characters power and inventory and stuff, and that feels really good the more time you put into it. But I'm not sure that's the experience I'm looking for right now. Honestly, the main thing this game is doing is making me want to go and play more Erenshaw, which, if you don't know, is an indie title which aims to kind of emulate this experience, the EverQuest experience, except it's a single-player offline game, and it uses, like, bots as, like, AI running around. Not LLMs or anything, but just the way we used to call AI. So like simulated players and stuff like that. And that's quite fun to me because the kind of offline MMO concept is so novel that it sells me on it. Like, you can just invite anyone to your party and they will always accept, because of course they will. I mean, I think there are some cases where they won't accept, like if they're in the middle of a dungeon or a raid or something. But for the most part, they'll always accept, and you can just always have a party of players with you and stuff. And sure, that's going to lack the community experience, obviously. It's not an actual MMO, and it's not trying to replace those parts of an actual MMO. But yeah, maybe this will just turn me back to playing more Erenshaw. If anything, this might help me understand Erenshaw a little more, because I felt like I was missing something from that game. But maybe if it's trying to emulate the EverQuest experience, I'm missing that I should be grinding mobs more, which, again, is fine. I just need to know that's what I'm getting into. So yeah, there you go. There's my very honest first impressions of maybe less so EverQuest Legends specifically, and more EverQuest itself. I do find the Legends editions fascinating, though. If this was World of Warcraft Classic, and they'd... like, who knows what Classic Plus is actually going to be. I imagine it would probably be something quite different to this. But if they announced Classic Plus, and it was... you can be 3 classes at once, and you can solo anything, and you can, like, change races. You can unlock the ability to change races on the fly, and you can merge items to make more powerful ones and stuff. I would be on it like a fly on shit, I've never used that expression before, I'm sorry, that was disgusting. But yeah, I can see why people who already love EverQuest are all over this. I'm just saying I don't know if it's possible to really get that excited about EverQuest as someone who's never really played it before. I don't know. Maybe it'll grow on me. I'm going to keep giving it a chance. But yeah, those pretty much sum up my thoughts for now. Let me know in the comments if there is something that I'm missing that could fundamentally change everything. But I don't think there is from what I've seen. Oh, for the record, I can see the magic here. I think if I did play it in the early 2000s, I would have been a lifer. Now, this leads me on to my next topic, because I'd been anticipating EverQuest Legends for a little bit, and as I've just mentioned, for many reasons, it didn't quite hit the way I was hoping. And so I was left with this feeling of like, okay, what do I actually want? And I was thinking about, like, how I want this big open world fantasy, like... journey, basically, and, good for me if there's plenty of those around. So that was one thing, and then the other thing was, I saw that there's this game called Dragon Sword, which is, I was just telling you about Erenshaw, which is like this offline MMO. This is like a non-gacha game, so it's a little similar to that, and it looks really good, but I decided to hold off on grabbing it just for financial reasons. And so those two things, wanting a big open adventure and also wanting to play something like Dragon Sword, but not being able to, led me to thinking, like, okay, what do I actually have? Like, I've got so many unfinished games. I should look into my backlog and I will find something to scratch that itch. And I ended up landing on Xenoblade Chronicles Definitive Edition, like the first game in the trilogy. And I've got a long history of this game, so I want to very quickly tell you about it. I think I bought Xenoblade Chronicles Definitive Edition in 2019 after watching part of Chugga Conroy's Let's Play of it and realizing I wanted to play through this myself. And... long-time viewers of the channel will know I have a really bad attention span, and I hardly ever finish anything, especially RPGs. I love them, and I never finish them. And Xenoblade Chronicles specifically is a game that I've played on and off for like 6 years on the same save file, and I got to, without spoiling anything, I got to the end of Magna Forest. But I would take like these 1 or 2 year long gaps in between like certain story beats. Not consciously, not for any particular reason. I wouldn't even, like, decide to take a break or anything. That's not how my brain works. I would just turn around, like, 3-4 months later and go, ah, shit, I forgot I was playing Xenoblade Chronicles. And I just decided, let's start over, right? This is something that I'd been trying to avoid because I'd already watched Chugga Conroy play some of it and I'd already played some of it myself. I didn't want to run into the problem of where you try and get into a game so many times that you've played the first 5 hours like 500 times and you just cannot for the life of you continue that experience, and yet you still have that problem of loading up your most recent save file is still a few years old and you don't remember what you were doing and so on and so forth. But I decided, whatever, I'm just going to start a new save file. I mean, full transparency, I actually decided this like a couple of months ago and then forgot I was doing this. On brand, I know. I got up to Ragwell Bridge. So anyway, last few days I've been playing from there, and I'm now up to past where I have gotten, like, ever. And it's been a wild experience because I've been playing through these zones. I would say it's like 3 or 4, maybe 5 more zones from there. And I've been witnessing the story back to back in sequential order over the course of a few days that previously had year-long breaks to my perspective. And so I'm like, wow, these events happen a lot closer together than I remember. This story feels a whole lot more cohesive than it did last time, and it's because I'm not forgetting half of it every other chapter. And listen, alright, we have done 431 episodes of this show, right? This is episode 432. We have gone over, I need to finish more games. Trying to finish more games is really getting me down. I just need to let myself do what I need to do. We've gone back and forth on that issue dozens of times, it feels like. I'm not going to rehash it. But what I am going to say is that maybe I would like to stick to the occasional game. I would like to try and finish some games. I don't have to finish everything, but I do think that I should finish Xenoblade Chronicles. I should stick to it. I should finish it because I'm having such a good time with it. I should probably talk about that, right? So far I've only talked about the experience of returning to the game. But no, the reason I've played so much of it over the last few days is because I'm having such a good time. And I've just gotten to an area, anyone who's played it knows what I'm talking about, the area after Machna Forest. I've just gotten to that area, and this might just be a symptom of me having watched Chugga Conroy's Let's Play up to this point and then played up to this point twice. But continuing onwards from that point and seeing that new area and this next part of the story, it feels like I'm playing a whole other game. It feels crazy. It almost feels like a sequel. I'm like, whoa. Suddenly, like, there's this whole new area and this whole new element of the story and all these new characters, and the story is developing in ways that I've been curious about for years, and I'm just so intrigued and excited. And yeah, they, like, part of this is also they just released the Switch 2 version of Xenoblade Chronicles 2, so I know that if I do steam through and finish this game and want to play the sequel, I know that the best version of a sequel is now available. Also, the other part of this is I think I spent like 20 hours getting to the end of Machna Forest on my original save file, and I got there in 12 hours this time around, so I wasn't trying to be faster, but I was just naturally quite a bit faster in getting there. Probably a combination of experience, having less incentive to just go exploring in a way that doesn't, get me experience points and gear and stuff, but just like, oh, what's over here? And also they've added these ether jet bikes, which allow you to turbo boost around the zones, like, really, really quickly. And I wasn't using them all the time or anything, and I wasn't trying to get through it fast, but it certainly would have shaved off maybe between half an hour to an hour, I would say. So yeah, maybe, like, I'm going to try and have one story game. I think I also wanted to do this for Octopath Traveler like a month or two ago, but then a lot of things came out. So yeah. This is not a promise, this is not a foolproof plan, this is just my current intent. I would like to play through and finish Xenoblade Chronicles because it's very much scratching the itch right now. Like we just got a whole bunch of information about Evercold, like Final Fantasy XIV Evercold. And, Xenoblade Chronicles kind of scratches the Final Fantasy XIV MSQ itch to me. Like, there's something similar about the way the story is told and presented, and the gameplay as well, and the world design. Like, obviously, Xenoblade Chronicles is often touted as, like, one of the most MMO adjacent single-player RPGs that isn't actually trying to be an MMO. But yeah, I'm enjoying it. I'm gonna keep playing it and watch this space. Another game I should talk about is RuneScape. Last week I talked about returning to RuneScape, and I've been continuing to play it to plumb its new depths and to see the new content. Still haven't touched Haven Hive, hilariously. I have got stuck a little bit in just AFKing some skills while I listen to a podcast or an audiobook or a YouTube video or something. But I have been checking out some of the changes, and this week I would say the main one I've been checking out is thieving. They've made some changes to thieving, and now when you... It doesn't make any sense, right? Practicality-wise, lore-wise. But now they've made it so pickpocketing is automatic. I actually played when they did that already, but like that used to be like a perk on like a microtransaction outfit you could buy or unlock or whatever, and now it's just standard, thankfully. So you don't have to right click pickpocket every single time you want to pick someone's pocket. It just keeps going. What they have changed since I last played is now the chance to get whacked on the head isn't just a flat 50% or whatever it was. Instead, it's like based on your thieving level and the target's thieving level requirement. There's like some calculation there, and it's also just way more forgiving. Like, I was pickpocketing paladins in Ardoin, which is apparently how you pronounce the name of that place. There's a G in there, would you believe it? And I think I could pickpocket, and it was like at like it was the highest level thing. It was like, I think I hit level 70. I think that's when you can pickpocket the paladins, and I'm admitting to crimes. I know, it's crazy. And I think I could have my character just pickpocketing automatically for like 2.5 minutes to 3 minutes before getting bonked on the head. So that's a massive improvement to that skill. And there's also a whole bunch of other stuff they've changed, not just how pickpocketing works. But yeah, it's nice. It sounds like, oh, they've just made it easier, but they've made it something that I want to actually pursue. Like, they've balanced it to a point where it doesn't feel like, oh, I'm just gonna get the easiest 99 in the world. Although maybe it is one of the easiest 99s in the world, I don't know. But like, it's also great because apparently they've rebalanced a whole bunch of thieving rewards in terms of like not just pickpocketing items and coins and stuff, but also like safe cracking and stuff like that. And as an Iron Man who isn't allowed to trade with other players or buy items off of other players off a Grand Exchange, that's very nice to hear. I mean, already I was pickpocketing wizards at the Wizard's Tower, and I was getting nature talismans, and anyone who's watched my series on this channel from a way back will know that getting a nature talisman on an Iron Man used to be a whole ordeal, and now I could just pickpocket mages and get it pretty quickly. So yeah, there you go. There's some pretty deep RuneScape knowledge for you. I've also been continuing to play around with a new player-owned housing stuff. I've now set up a portal room, which for a long time was kind of pointless in RuneScape 3. Like, in old school RuneScape, it's amazing because it helps you save on runes, and it's just less of a faff, right? And then in RuneScape 3, it's like you've got the lodestone network, so you don't really need to care about that kind of thing. But now that the house teleport is just completely free, I can have the portal to my house be in my house portal room, and it's kind of a faster, cheaper, quicker way to get to these places. And also you can have like a fairy ring in there now, so that's nice. You can have like instant access to a fairy ring, and I'm pretty sure you can have displays with some of the enchanted jewelry which have teleports on them and stuff as well. I need to get that set up. So yeah, it is still mostly just like this is kind of a thing I always wanted to do back in 2007. Maybe it's not the most crazy thing now, but it's nice to have. Just a little teleport hub. I love a little teleport hub. I always make them in Minecraft and stuff, like Creative Worlds. You've gotta love a teleport hub. Honestly, the other main game I've been sinking a whole lot of time into is coloring pixels. And if you don't know what that is, it's literally just a paint by numbers game. You get a bit of pixel art, and it's all numbers, and you click the number, and it's 1 is green, and you click all the boxes with a number 1 in them, and you paint them green, and then 2 is pink, and you click all the boxes with a number 2 in them, and you paint them pink, and by the end of it, you've got a picture, damn it. And you might be wondering what the appeal of that is. It is the perfect game to play while listening to an audiobook. Like, it keeps, I think I've talked about this before, but it keeps one side of my brain occupied while the other is also perfectly occupied with the book in a way of just, I don't know, it's perfect zen for me. It's my happy place. If you ever see me playing that game, just assume I'm listening to an audiobook. Oh, and also, sorry, that's not it for games I played this week. I've been busier than I thought. I played a little bit more of Assassin's Creed Odyssey, which is a replay. I have perfected that game on PS4 before, but I got it on Steam. I've talked about that before. And I also decided to start an Assassin's Creed 3 Remastered, which I've been meaning to play for absolute bloody years. But that was before Xenoblade, and honestly, while I do kind of want to get back to it and keep playing it, I kind of want to really focus on Xenoblade. So, yeah, I don't know. That might be a victim of this new focusing technique I'm trying. It turns out not chasing every, just offhand whim that you have in regards to like, oh, I should play this. Oh, I should play that. It might help. Might help the attention span a little bit. I don't know. I'll get back to you on that. Speaking of which, that reminds me, I need to refund something. Anyway, I think that's going to do it for today. Thanks for tuning in. Again, let me know if there's anything I'm missing in regards to EverQuest. Other than that, subscribe for more. And just assume that I kicked this tiger's ass. It's a lion. I know what a lion looks like. Shut up. Okay, bye.